I'm Dr. Mitch Harlan, and welcome to the Truth Talks podcast. Today's podcast actually takes a personal spin for me. This is Tia and Jari Boehmer.
How you doing, Mitch?
Hi.
I'm doing well. This is going to be one of the most interesting shows for a whole variety of reasons. Number one, Tia, I've known you forever. Tia's been my office manager. I'll screw this up, but a whole bunch of years. Well, 15, 16, 17.
13 years.
That's what I meant. 13 is exactly what I meant. But I've known you for what?
Like 20, 21 years.
20, 21 years. We spend every day together, Monday through Thursday.
Yep.
And we've had many, many talks on all types of topics. But when you spend that much time with somebody, you get to know them extremely well. As a matter of fact, I knew Jari. I met Jari before I met Jari. He was the hot guy across the street mowing the yard.
That's right.
That was my first introduction to Jari. Since then, obviously, we've become extremely close. So it's kind of like a family one. Normally, when we're doing a podcast, it's a guest that comes in that, I do my research on them. I got to know them. But with you guys, I kind of know everything. We've been on trips together. We've obviously work all the time together. So this one is really, really interesting and even emotional for me to do. And I'm going to try not to look at her because I already know right now she's holding it together so far.
You're going to lose it.
This one is so incredibly powerful because it's something that you struggle with. So I'm going to give the background. We did a podcast with Diana and Micah LaCerte that owned HitchFit. And I looked them up, I researched them, I did all my homework on them because when we bring people on the show, we want real life, real stories. And these people are genuine, they're real, which I'm sure you guys will attest to. Mm-hmm. And then our whole focus here with producer Chad and myself, we sit down, we talk about these things, and we're like, how do we really, truly make an impact? A lot of people get on and they do shows for a whole bunch of different reasons, but we want to make an impact. There's not a bigger impact right now. And I want to tell everybody before we even get going, this is part one, and we're having part two called the final product, final reveal, right?
No pressure.
No pressure. You know what? Sometimes it takes pressure. We're going to get into that, right? We're going to get into all of that stuff because I love things that we've talked about off camera now since all this has begun. But I'm going to start with you, Tia. This has been an issue with you for a long time, is weight.
Right. For forever, for as long as I can think back, back to sixth grade. Sixth grade, nobody wants to go to school and you got the gym weigh-in and I weigh in at 150 pounds for a PE class. And that's from my background of skating, but at that time just thinking I'm massive. So I've always just kind of felt like the big girl. And I always battled that. And
you've carried that, although one of the things that's really interesting is your personality has always been, like I've never even had one single patient that just literally hasn't fallen in love with you, right? And so I think sometimes, I don't know, maybe it's one of those things where in some people they overcompensate, but in you that wasn't it. That's always been your genuine you. But now we have a new genuine you.
Yeah.
So I want to start out right out of the gate. I want to know, you started the program 12 weeks ago.
Yep. I think it was June 12th.
Sounds about right.
That we took our pictures and we signed up. We watched the podcast and it was one of those, we're doing this. We're signing up.
But you do a lot of things, and I feel bad for Jari, and we have a talk about this. She'll come back to me.
Oh, man.
I know. I
know the list.
I do. I know the list, and I feel bad for you sometimes because once it's like, I'm going to get into that in a second. I want to start with numbers first, and then I'm going to jump into how I feel for Jari. Let's jump into numbers. Where were you? Where are you now?
I started at 197, and I am at 167 today.
So we're talking 30 pounds.
30 pounds
Give me
today.
inches. Where are all the inches at?
3 pounds or 3 inches in my chest, 3 inches in my waist, 3 inches in my hips, 2 inches in my thighs, 1 inch in my calf, 2 inches in my bicep, and 1 inch in my arm.
And you told me yesterday, you said you picked up a 30-pound weight, and you were like, oh, my God, I can't believe how heavy that is.
Yeah, that's heavy.
It's dramatic.
And I had read something, too, that for every pound you lose 4 pounds of pressure. And that's just staggering to me. Picking up that 30-pound weight, that's massive. But to, think about that in pounds of pressure, that's
something
astounding.
different on your body.
Yeah.
Give me your numbers.
So started out at 227 and finished up right at 200 pounds. So lost 27 pounds, 6.5 inches in my tummy, and
Woo.
2 inches in my waist and my hips. And went down a shirt size and a pant size, which now these shirts are too big as well. So
which is just it's amazing because you see these stories, and you see these transformations, but we all have to be honest. This is what we call truth talks. Did you ever think you'd be there?
No. I took a deep breath because there were so many times of failure that I really hoped it, wanted, wished it, everything. And this is one of those where it was all in.
But you failed at it a bunch. What was different here?
God, the world collapsed, Everything isolated you to home.
sit at home and think about it.
Yeah, and that became a hard space. There's so many times that I had told you that just trying to control my own, I'm your teary guest, control the noise, in my head. And man, I am really good at kicking my own butt in my head. And it just kept failing and failing and failing. And this one just felt like I had every reason to do this. And I had something really big this time. I had faith, and I had him, and I don't know. It wasn't an option. It was, I'm going to do this.
When you looked at HitchFit, did you believe at that point that this is the one that can
Yes.
take it over the edge for
I
me?
knew that after we watched that video that this is it. And I felt like you were just, man, this is such a powerful podcast. And did you pick it just for me? Did you choose these people just for me? Because it just felt like they're in the same, they're stuck at home too. It was right when COVID happened. Everything's locked down, and we're all trying to adjust to how we're seeing each other on Zoom. And to me, what's going to be your excuse? There's no excuse to you. There's no more excuses. And this one just felt like, we're going to tackle this. We're going to nail it. God's with us. You're with me. He's with me. You're with me. I've got a team, and I'm not going to fail.
And we talked about that. You and I have had multiple conversations on this. Just because I know that it's a difficult thing for all of us. The reason we ran that podcast is because millions and millions of people, if not all of us, I think
Right.
it could be everyone. Weight is always something that we talk about. Jerry's getting younger by the minute. You're 50,
51.
51.
Yep.
And at 51, one of the things that happens at that point in time is sometimes we start to get old real fast, right?
That's a fact.
And a lot of us towards our late 40s, joints are hurting a little bit. You start to get into 50s, and it's just easier to not look amazing
Right.
and do your thing. Obviously, you didn't take that idea. You were like, I'm gonna look amazing at 51. But then you just said, wait till the next 12 weeks. I'm gonna look even more amazing at 52.
Absolutely. And that's really, I think to your question of what got us so motivated about this is literally having that conversation about what do we see for our future and what were the plans and the dreams that we had talked about. And as we sat around dealing with the COVID, staring at each other, we said, we've got plans and we're not going to get there looking like this. And it truly was. We were having the conversation. We watched the podcast with HitchFit, and just something clicked, and we knew we got to jump on this, and we're going to do it. And there was just
I'm not gonna let you.
coming
I'm not
back.
gonna let you off the hook because you kind of have that mindset. You're gonna go get it and you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us questioned you. Did you question her?
Honestly, yes. Yeah, we've been up and down the road many times. Unfortunately, that she has had great success and stopped just short of actually realizing that success. And I think I've done the same. We enjoy spending so much time together, and we do things together so much that we always have tried to get into the exercise program together. And when one of us starts losing interest and falls out, the other one does too, because we want to go spend time with that person. That's, you get home from work, you don't want to go bury yourself in the gym for 2 hours. You want to hang out with the person that you're in love with. And so it's hard to go to the basement and work out. So one of us would end up saying, forget about it, let's go hang out.
Right.
So inevitably, we would somehow sabotage each
Sabotage
other
it.
in the process.
Absolutely. And now we'll revisit the whole thing because, again, I spent an enormous amount of time with you. And every time there's something comes up where She's going to go buy kayaks. I'm like, oh my God, I feel bad for Jerry because that means his ass is going to be on the lake every weekend.
So true.
Yes.
We're going to, not only did we find this new church, but now we're going to be teaching the courses. And oh, by the way,
Yes.
Jerry's teaching one too.
Yep.
So I give you your kudos because this girl will bring you
Oh,
into
yeah.
everything. I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
that poor guy. But when it comes to weight loss, that's bigger than kayaking. That's bigger than
It was. That's real world.
being a mentor. It's real world.
Yeah.
And so I wonder if that was something that you said, all right, wait a minute, this is another idea. When did you know that it was going to be serious? She was going to be serious, you were going to be serious, and you guys were going to not sabotage one another.
I didn't take it seriously at first. I really jumped on this as her wingman. So I was playing along, and I just kept watching her, and I think, gosh, by the second week, she was nipping at me about making sure my diet was straight, making sure my sleep was good, making sure I was cutting everything, and I do mean everything, out of my world that I had become accustomed to and leaned on. You know, you don't realize how much sugar you enjoy until you stop.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really like about the second week when I was just starting to get blown away with her, and she was the first one to start saying, hey, I'm dropping pounds. And I'm like, oh, wait, what am I doing? And that just encouraged me to start taking it more seriously as well, and that was exciting. That's what kept me driven the whole time, was the fact that she was fired up the whole time.
Because this is one aspect that people are going to look at even this podcast and say, you know, listen, do you just started on day one? Took you 2 weeks to kind of get on board.
It did.
I think you were buried into day one.
Yeah.
You were like, I'm going all in.
Yeah, I think even maybe before that, it was like the
Probably.
weekend before, you know, because
Well-
everybody amps up and say, okay, I'm going to start my diet on Monday. And we had the kids over that weekend and, you know, just enjoying a barbecue or something. And I remember thinking, I'm not going to have that Pepsi. I'm not going to have that cheesecake.
I do remember that.
I'm going to try to just maybe set myself up just a little bit. You know, I really just want to see if I can do this. And man, I just wasn't sure, but I just thought, just keep trying to set yourself up for success.
One day at a time. Tell our audience, what's that saying that you showed me that is now one of my favorite sayings?
So it was my mantra was I want to see what happens if I don't give up.
And is that something you looked at every day?
Every day.
And every time. And I know I can tell the transformation in the office has just been astronomical. I mean, everybody is like, oh my God, what did she do? What did she do? What did she do? Right? And I know that has made you feel really good.
Yeah.
And it's an accomplishment that just not that many people do. And because it's hard. But I asked you off camera, we were talking about a little bit ago, and I'm like, you know, what was easy? And you said, oh, it was easy. And Jerry said, the hell it was.
Hell
What are you
no.
where were you at? I don't know what you're talking about. We don't want there to be a misconception.
Right.
I think perhaps that statement was, it was easy for you because you were 100% committed and you wanted this so bad you didn't want anything else.
Agreed, but I 100% didn't want to be where I was at. So where I'm at right now, this feels like it was so easy. Why couldn't I have done this earlier? Why didn't I start this earlier? What an epic loss, you know? So I'm really proud, you know?
Very proud.
But I wish I just didn't take so long because for me, it just feels like a journey. But I succeeded and I could have done this 5 years ago, 10 years ago if I would have, what was that, just believed or?
Well, we've had that talk. We had the talk of, you know, everything in life is about experiential knowledge. That's what Truth Talks is. We want everybody to listen to our podcast, and you're going to learn something. So no matter where you're at, you're going to learn something and be able to talk with somebody on a knowledgeable basis.
Absolutely.
And what really makes change is when you have that knowledge. And HitchFit give you every single tool to make this change.
Absolutely.
And that, I think, was the big difference. But then there was this other thing, you know, and Micah and Diana LaCerte, they talk about this all the time. Sometimes it's far less about your body change than it is about your mind change.
You bet.
Absolutely.
And that is what I've noticed a ton. You come in a little bit different. And I don't know if you told Jerry about our conversation, but I'm going to tell it because I think it's incredibly important. You and I, we have meetings periodically, not as much as we probably should because it seems like we just kind of know what the other one's doing.
Yep.
But there are times in the practice where you're like, I need some paperwork and I need it now, right? And it's frustrating. And you even came in, you were sitting down there and you told me, you said, sometimes I feel like I'm failing here because I don't feel like I'm getting everything that I need to get out. But you had an epiphany. Because I said, hey, you know what? If I wasn't back here doing all this other stuff till 1 or 2 in the morning, we may never have found HitchFit, and where would we be?
Right.
Everything in life happens for a reason, but I think you got to be open to it. I think you got to be ready for it. And then when you do find that perfect combination, amazing things happen. And I see that happen with both you guys.
Yeah.
Just amazing. Now you're the man, you're not gonna, you're not gonna cry here, obviously, which would have been fantastic for ratings.
Well,
But
we'll see. We'll
obviously,
see.
you're not
We'll
gonna do
see.
it.
Have a hallmark moment.
But tell me what changed for you, just emotionally.
You know, a lot of it changed. I think it just refocused my direction on where I saw us going and where I wanted to be with my wife and our future. So, yeah, it really was. It was, you know, you're sitting around one day, you're kind of this fat, lumpy guy, thinking to yourself, man, my knees hurt, my hips hurt every time I stand up. It takes me a minute to get my land legs under me, you know, and I literally was complaining about just how old my body was getting, and realized that with a little bit of work, I can stay young. And it's not only kept my body younger, but my mind has gotten younger as well. I'm having fun. I tell people all the time, it's hard work being this young, but it's worth it. And it gives me a better, I think I show up to work every day with a little bit more pep in my step. I know that my body doesn't ache the way it did. You know, just overall excitement for the future and the next day, as opposed to going, oh, here we go, let me drag this fat butt out of bed again. And, you know.
Well, let's cut the crap. What happens when the lights go out?
Brown chicken.
Bounce.
T was asking me what the real motivator behind this was, and I'll be honest, it was sex. Really, you know,
It's truth talks.
It's truth talks, and as a man gets older, obviously, sex becomes more difficult and more important all at the same time, because it is becoming difficult because you're not the spring chicken you were. The value of those moments with the person you spend your life with become more and more important. And my fear was, if I continue the path that I'm on, those moments are going to get fewer and farther between, and I'm just not all about that, because I'm way too young to quit that.
Well, you're getting younger, apparently.
And I'm getting younger now, so it really was a bit of the motivator. I mean, it's just the idea of knowing that we can continue to be intimate with one another and enjoy traveling and adventures and all the things we do.
All the things that I get into do.
All
Yeah.
the things she talks me into doing.
But you know, that's the thing that this is where we get haters, but that's okay. I'm willing to go down that road.
Yeah.
Do you feel literally better being thin than heavy
Absolutely.
in every aspect of your life?
So far, yeah. I mean, this is so sudden, but this is so rewarding. From the time I move the shower curtain over, because you get that glance, and it starts right there first thing in the morning as a reality check of who you are and what you've become. You know, you're a walking billboard of what your life is like, what you're enduring, what you're feeling, how you're carrying it, you know, and just became very emotional about it and just kept feeding that emotion. And it's nice not to be, I think, a walking billboard of what I feel is my failure. And knowing that I can exercise, I can do something that's for me, showing up every day to do something that's for me, not for you, work hard at the office for you, you know, or work hard at being a wife, but man, I just never showed up to work for me. And that's so gratifying that I leave that gym, and sometimes it's 10:30 at night, you know, that it's coming out of the basement, because it's trying to find the time after I leave the clinic and get home and try to talk, and I'm a talker, so trying to get that wrapped up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I'm at the gym at 10:30. But it's so gratifying because I just did that, and I had given myself every reason why I couldn't do it or I can't do it, and it was a reality check of, are you saying you can't do this or you won't do it? What is it? Because you're a walking billboard of something, so what do you want to be a billboard of? Your success? Be proud of yourself.
You were concerned I was going to leave you behind on the tour,
Yes, I was. Big time.
which is unbelievable to me. You came into the office and you said something to the effect of, you know, I feel like me looking this way that you're not taking me with you, you're not taking me on tour. And I was sitting there thinking, well, where the hell did that come from? What is that about? I mean, you control, aside from my wife, you control every other thing in my life. And I'm like, where the hell did that come from? And we've had talks about this. That was your internal dialogue.
Yeah.
That was never, I mean, I loved you then, and I got to be honest, I'm really kind of digging you now because it is. I've watched this happiness thing happen, right? And you were always happy, but I don't know if it was near as genuine as it is now.
Internally, I feel like I'm on top of the world. I mean, I'm just so proud and ecstatic to be me. Before, I'm just embarrassed to be me, ashamed to be me, you know? Just, I had heard somebody say, you know, moderation would do you good. And man, that just, those little things just kind of stick in your head. And it's so nice to show up and just be the best that you can be. And for so long, I wasn't showing up to be the best, you know, and I was failing, you know. I know I'm not failing because I know you love
No,
me
I love you.
regardless, you know, but we had talked about so many things and just being healthy and fit, you know, so we can go do these things. And I was concerned, you know, about losing my relationship with him, and I didn't want to lose my relationship with you, you know. This is going on tour, and you don't want to be that girl, and I just felt like this walking cloud of that girl, and
I mean, that's honest, and I think that's just absolutely wonderful. You know, another thing that we talked about, you said you would eat healthy when you're in the office or you're around people, but then on the way home you may stop and get whatever the hell it was, ding-dongs or whatever.
hard to have a
Would we call that living a lie?
totally living a lie. Boy, I had you guys all kind of scammed. And the truth is I was just hurting myself. But you don't get it when you're in it. You know, it just feel like I'm just feeling, you know, maybe like a drug addict. You're just needing that need or that comfort or the satisfaction or that reward that you did a good job today. You know, there was a busy day at the office. It was a busy night, you know, busy weekend with the kids, and I just kept kind of piling it on, and it just...
I want you to be honest right here, right now. That, was it really piling on because there's a lot of people that feel that way, or is it that you just hadn't made that decision to do it?
I hadn't made this decision, but it was still such a world that I think I was creating my own chaos, that I was trying to put the food as my rewards in the day. So, you know, packing my breakfast, working in a medical office, it's, you know, you're trying to be healthy because you have doctors around you all day. And I have all the people and all the support in the world that just wanted me to succeed. But you can't eat a burger or fries or all of these things in front of the doctors, you know? They're going to look at you, and I've had those looks, but it was a look of, you know, you can do better. But I just didn't believe it. So, I mean, there were times at lunch that I would, you know, go make sure I hit and got a green salad and I got a drink. But for some reason, I thought I needed a sweet dessert. So I would get myself a reward. So there would be a fruit Danish that would come back with me to the office that I would hide away. It would be a Friday where I would hit McDonald's and do the best I could to hide the wrappers, you know, because I didn't want the evidence, because I knew it was conversation. It was going to be another, why you doing this? And if you guys saw me do that, you would ask me the same thing, why you doing it? And
then what's the change? Why this time?
man, I'm important, and I don't want to be like this. I want to be the best version of myself. Whew.
What do you tell the people that say, I've seen this a million times, where people lose the weight but then they gain it back because they lose the momentum? Do you think you can carry the momentum on?
You bet.
It feels that good?
This feels that good, and I think just, man, I wish I wasn't so tearful.
This is you, by the way.
This is
you
me.
if we're having a conversation on the purification of water.
Right. Just I think the overwhelming response that I've gotten from my family, the look that I've got from my daughter. My daughter has never seen me like this, and she's always kind of known me as fluffy mom or big mom, and man, I just feel so successful. I don't think there's any amount of money that I could ever make that makes me feel as as wonderful as I feel right now, you know. Granted, I'll take any raise you want to give me. But man, I just feel on top of the world, and I feel like I can be as successful as I want to be because I just proved to myself I can be.
Your daughter told me yesterday, she says, I just keep looking at my mom. I've never seen her like this.
That's cool. That's my motivation. That's what drives me.
I'm going to ask you this, Jerry, because this is something that a lot of people talk about. And all right, let me restate that. This is a question that not a lot of people talk about, but we're going to talk about it because it's Truth Talks.
All right.
Which, by the way, that makes me all teary too. But I'm doing my best to hold it together.
You
So,
touchy?
yeah, maybe in a minute. I mean, let's be real. When you're, you know, your wife is down 30 pounds. I have a sneaking suspicion she's going to be down significantly more after the next 12 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
I believe you're going to keep it going. I don't think this is going to change. Now what? I think what happens is this is that point where people start talking about, oh, there's somebody else in a relationship. Now, we know it's not with you guys because both of you are doing it together and you're working out till 10 o'clock in the gym.
Sure, yeah, we don't have time for anything else.
But, right? But this is one of those things I think that a lot of people struggle with. And so I give you kudos for literally supporting her in this mission to, whether we like it or not, the world is based around this thing called sexiness, right? Mm-hmm. And sexiness is literally thought of as being in the best shape that you're in. Now, there's different opinions from different people, and God knows we're going to get hate mail there, Producer Chad, but I don't care. Facts are facts, right?
True.
Can you handle that? Are you good with that?
With which part? Her looking sexier
Yeah.
and sexier, or the
Absolutely.
hate mail, or
No.
the...
Her looking sexier and sexier. You know, now she's out walking around in her stilettos and.
You bet, you bet, and that's a real question. I mean, the reality of it is I have loved Tia wholly since the very beginning,
And that's a true statement.
and I mean, you've known us through all of this.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's nobody that dotes on their wife like I do, and I, like you alluded to a little bit earlier, I entertain just about everything that she comes up with. I'm in.
Even becoming the Sunday school
I'll do
teacher.
it. Even become a Sunday school teacher. You know, so I'm there and I support everything. And so when she jumped on board with this, of course, I was supporting her, and I didn't realize it was going to turn out really well for both of us. And not just in the fact that we are both better in better shape, but as you alluded to, she's looking better and better. I see her in these dresses and heels, and you know, so there's a whole lot more of that. Hey, you know, just be good out there today, you know, and you know, it's kind of fun actually because it takes us back to the beginning when everything was a little bit on pins and needles all the time, and you know, so I think that actually raises the intensity of how we feel about one another, because then of course at the end of the day, you know, I'm coming home from my job and I'm tired and worn out. She comes strutting in, you know, full of sunshine like she always is. She's rolling up in a beautiful dress and heels, and you know that lightens my day, obviously.
Tell me about the support. I mean, now that you've seen how she feels, how she is, can you give her 100% support for the whole remainder of the game?
Oh, you know it, absolutely. Yeah. Now this is definitely something that, you know, if she needed some new weights, we got the weights, and you know, we've done everything we can to make sure this is successful for both of us. But you know, this was really, like I said in the beginning, I felt like this was Tia's journey, and I was kind of playing the wingman. And you know, it just
You didn't play the wingman, man. You turned into a solid
He
mass of
turned into
muscle.
awesomeness.
But here's what I'm really talking about. Will you hold her accountable?
Absolutely, absolutely, because that's really kind of been the thing in the beginning. We had a conversation about, if we're going to do this, let's do it for real. You know, I'm
Show up.
51. I'm not getting any younger, and so this feels like it takes a toll on the body, more so at my age than it did when I was 25 doing this sort of thing. You know, and so the accountability is there that, hey, I'll show up every day, but you better show up every day as well. And when you stop showing up every day, we're going to have a conversation on it. Because I'm committed, I expect you to be committed. You brought us here, so let's both continue forward on this.
And that's motivating. That keeps you accountable.
It is. We've got this little, or I've got this little game that I play at home that when it
God,
comes...
do I really want to hear
Oh,
what
you
game
do.
is this?
You do.
Does that look like Twister?
It's not a game.
No, when it gets time to work out, I'm very...
He's the drill sergeant.
I am the drill sergeant. You know, I'm ex-military, so everything has a schedule. There's a time to get going, and when it's time to get going, at our house, the surround sound system starts to play an air raid siren, throughout the house, very
So you can
loud,
hear
to
it
say
all
it's
the way
time to
through the
go.
house.
And I start yelling, get down into the shelter, get down to the bunker, it's time to get it on.
So
and that's
let
kind
me
of our
let me
thing.
then go to this with you, because that is a huge piece to the puzzle. Could you have done it without him? Because there's going to be a lot of people whose spouse may not support the way you two guys do. I mean, you guys have a wonderful relationship.
You bet.
That's not a lot of people.
Right.
So we hope that in this podcast we change a life, right? So if there's a person over here, what's the new name for the lady that's crazy? Karen, right? Now if you're a
Oh,
Karen.
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Karen, yeah.
So I think it goes both ways, and I think the reason I preface this by this question is, if the man or the woman starts to get in good shape, people start bringing up these crazy stories in their head. But also, you've struggled, you've had your battles with this without having this militant guy over here blowing the horn. Do you think you would have still done it?
It is Truth Talks.
It is true.
It is Truth Talks.
You know, it's a battle that I have just had this whole life. And it just seems like I had a wealth of, I don't know. There is so much material there that they offer you, that they give you all the keys, that I couldn't see why not. I couldn't see you doing without him, though. That made it.
I'm
But
glad you said that. Because I think that's the thing. I think that you could have done it without him, but it helped immensely.
it helped a lot. I mean, just knowing who I'm doing it for is me, you know? It's me that starts the day and affects everybody around me, you know? And I wanted to stop being a wrecking ball of my failure and be the sunshine, be the happiness I am, and not wearing my problem. And he was such a good partner, even days where, you know, I felt like when we first started, I'm like the kid, you know, stomping down the stairs. I don't want to do this, and, you know, I don't want to talk to you. And why are you whistling in the gym? And why are you whistling at me in the gym? And I mean, just having fun, but you're irritated, but you're working through so many things that I couldn't imagine doing this without you. There are all the tools there to do it at home. Everything's there. You just got to show up. And that was the biggest thing, is showing up.
This is probably by far one of my most favorite podcasts, even ones that we've talked about, because I know how painful the struggle has been. And to see that you finally win this game is like, I kind of picture to the guy that watches his kid, win the Olympics. They train all that time for that 2 minutes, and it's only every 4 years. You'd only get a couple shots at it. It feels really good for me. I do want to play a little video for you guys, something I think you will enjoy. So we'll play it right now.
We wanted to just share a little message with you guys here at Truth Talks, and about an amazing couple that I had the opportunity to work with. Tia and Jari, holy smokes, so proud of you. You probably heard me say that on email about 10 or 15 times, but could not be more proud of their success. Give you guys a little background of the two of them. So Jari, 51 years old, you know, his goal was really their future and becoming essentially the best version of himself so that they could continue living their future very positive, very happy, very healthy. And he knew that fitness and nutrition was going to be a key to that. And so he just absolutely crushed it and did an amazing job. Tia, a little bit different of a situation. Tia, you know, she really wrote in her write-up initially that she was an emotional eater, that she really had body images from the age of 5th grade in that period of time, went through some hard things. And she also let me know how stubborn she was, which I actually didn't see the whole transformation, because these two crushed it. I'm talking 55 pounds in 12 weeks, 33% body fat, over 20 inches lost between the two of them. I mean, I could just feel their words, you know, in those emails. And no matter how amazing all of those results are, I just saw a couple that were accountable to one another, that every week they were reaching out to me, and you could just see them slightly changing. They were transforming right before my eyes, and their words started just soaking through those emails, just so happy and so confident and so strong and so healthy. By the end of 12 weeks, they are freaking out these long emails, and I'm excited that they're doing another 12 weeks.
Wow. Well, Tia and Jerry, I just want to say congratulations. Micah has shared your journey with me, and I'm just incredibly proud of you. You guys are exactly why we do what we do at HitchFit. It is just to see those transformations that it's the HitchFit ripple effect. Like, yes, you're losing weight, you're losing body fat, but it impacts every single part of your lives. And we're so proud of you, and we're so just grateful for people like you that not only you go through this transformation, it's going to have that impact and that ripple effect on so many people around you that are going to make positive changes too. So congratulations. I can't wait to see your continued progress, and I can't wait to see eventually those before and afters, and to see you on the wall of transformations at HitchFit.
Oh, I can't wait. All right, guys, next 12 weeks, let's do it. Let's crush it. Let's get to those goals. And don't forget, folks,
Flex and smile.
Flex and
flex and smile. Have a good day. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Very
what,
cool.
what does that feel like? This again, you guys are getting accolades for all the hard work you put in. It's got to feel good.
Yeah, it's kind of a trip, actually. I'm not used to being the center of anybody's attention. I'm kind of, you know me,
Right.
I try to stay kind of low-key, the back of the bus, kind of just stay under the radar. And
Does it feel good that you did it?
It's exciting that I did it, absolutely, and truly could not have done it without Tia there by my side every day. And honestly, Micah had asked me, what is different about this program than any other program I did? And really the response that I had off the cuff was that I was not alone. I had Tia there every single day with me, but I also had Micah and Diana anytime I needed. I could shoot him an email in the middle of the day,
And they were
in the
back
middle
to
of the
us.
week, and he would respond, hey, Jerry, here's what I think you should do on this. Hey, Micah, what about supplements? Here's what I would suggest doing. And so many programs out there put together a really nice package, and they hand it over to you, and they wish you the best of luck, and it's up to you to make that success happen, which, it ultimately is up to us individually to do it. But the difference here is not only did they hand me all of the keys to the puzzle, they told me how to do it, they told me what I need to do it, but simply by having that communication back and forth, it was a little bit of accountability, but it was a whole lot of support. Just
Absolutely.
knowing that no matter what kind of a rough day I'm having, somebody out there was rooting for me.
Yeah, I think that's so important. That's actually exactly why I chose those guys. I don't know if we've said HitchFit enough. Have we said HitchFit enough? Have we used HitchFit plenty of times? Because it's HitchFit, right?
awesome.
So my favorite thing to say right now is I stopped dragging my wagon and I got my HitchFit.
That's beautiful.
Because anybody that knows me knows that I've had
Yeah.
this junk in the trunk, I've had this big butt for a long time, and I am so excited not to have such a big butt, It's my big victory. So stop dragging your wagon and get your HitchFit.
Well, this is part one of a two-part series. So the second one's going to be the final reveal, final product. Okay, so now there's another 12 weeks of accountability.
Yeah.
I think we've been through everything. I cannot tell you how much I am impressed with you sharing your story. I can't believe how well you held it together.
Me too.
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing, actually.
Another victory.
I thought, oh my God, this is going to be so much crying. We're going to be stopping all day. You did amazing.
Thanks.
You did absolutely wonderful. Very similar to the whole program that you guys have done. Proud of both of you. It's amazing. Not only did you do it for yourself, but it's our podcast. You're in this journey with me, and you took a podcast that we had done. You applied it.
Absolutely.
It worked out great for you. We know we've tried and trusted this company HitchFit to do what they said they could do, and they did it. And you guys did it. So congratulations.
Thanks.
Can't wait for
Do
12
it some
more
more.
weeks.
You
This
bet.
is seriously
We'll do it again.
accountability.
Yeah.
Okay.
This.
I don't know how well you're going to do. You're ripped already. And I know producer Chad's going to show some stuff, but you're freaking
Yeah.
ripped now.
I've got a ways to go, though. That's the thing, is that, the goal is to get to your best And I'm not there yet. So we'll see what happens in 12 weeks.
If he starts wearing those fancy underwear and walking around in them
Oh,
all day
yeah.
long,
You know it.
then you know that's when it went over the line.
Over the top.
Thank you guys. I love you both
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
And this is just going to be amazing.